Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with the boys, Martin and Kev, for your match reaction, your full match reaction to Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2. Back to winning ways in the league. Really good, solid performance. So we're going to get into it, talk obviously certain players, get into some of the moments in the game, the key moments in the game, maybe talk about VAR, but most of all, bask in the glory of Villa getting back into the top four. Before I talk to the boys, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. We've grown some huge numbers over the last few days, which is fantastic. That's down to your guys' support. We are about 50 subscribers away now from 3,400. I think just over 50 subscribers away. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you do want to join the channel and become a member, click the link at the top. And follow the instructions. It's just $1.99 a month to become a member and an official Villa Park Pod follower. Kev, how you doing, mate? Back to winning ways.
Back to winning ways, Richard. Back to winning ways. And another good performance, like a few of the recent performances have been good. Maybe not the result last week, but certainly another great performance. I thought 2-1 flattered Fulham massively. And always good to get an away win. And of course, it was going to be an away win because it was London, and we always win in London, don't we?
Yeah, well, look, it's these days we definitely do. I know we went through a few barren years in London, but nowadays it's our favourite place to go. And Martin, it's been a while on the channel. Great to have you back and to bask in the glory of a win as well, mate. Couldn't be anything better.
Absolutely great to be back. Obviously, you've just been looking after my health for the last while, but absolutely great to be back. Brilliant away performance once again from Villa and back into the top four.
Exactly. Well, let's get in the chat because we've got loads of comments already. Michael is here. Good evening to you, Michael. Deco Blanco is here. Good evening, mate. Western. Michelle, hello to you. Rachel as well. Good evening. Rub says hello. Zusamen. I like it. I love it. A bit on Man United there, Rachel. Yes, they're very, very, very lucky. Absolutely. Lewis is here as well. Good evening, Lewis. Great to have you in. And CC as well. A big hello to my favourite Villa people. Michelle, big up to Rich, Kevin, Martin. Big up to you as well. Tombo Jones says, can't wait until Watkins becomes consistent. I'm sure we will cover him as well in a second. But first of all, Kev, we were chatting backstage. We kept you all waiting. We were too busy chatting, you see. But we were just talking about, and this is, I guess, why I was quite upbeat after last week's performance against Man United, because we obviously said if we put those performances together and we continue those performances, we will get the results. And it does seem to be like that kind of blip, that dip of form or whatever. It just seems to be, we seem to be getting out of it now. And you mentioned the Sheffield United, the Man United, and now the Fulham games as indications of that.
Yeah, well, I'm Mr. Optimistic, Rich. You know that anyway. I've Mr. Optimistic after Kev's therapy sessions. Yeah, I mean, even after the Newcastle and Chelsea games, and look, obviously being a Villa fan over the years, you're always expecting the worst, and I see it in the comments, and it happened obviously after the Newcastle and Chelsea performances. It's like, oh, here we go. What's going to happen now? We'll be out of this. I saw people on Twitter saying we're going to finish 10th and all sorts of like over the top stuff. There's not one team in this league that haven't had a dodgy spell this season at some point. And sure, we will struggle if we get any more significant injuries. If you had a Watkins or a Louise or a Martinez, then it probably would be tough. But considering how well this squad has coped, how it's been pushing 18 months now, Emery. Probably 16 months now with Emery. This team perform generally most weeks. They do. This team seems to grind out results now. I think, and I've said this in the past many times, I'll say it again. We've got to banish any of those thoughts we've got of Aston Villa being this team that are going to let us down. We've got to, if we keep believing this as a fan base, it's probably going to come across to the players on the pitch in any kind of game when we're struggling. I'm not saying we're Man United in 98, 99, right? But even if they were 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go, they believe they were going to win that game. And even in our bad performances recently, we've somewhat come back into those games, got a goal, nearly got a second in both of those when we were 3-0 down. We've just got to keep believing and being optimistic about it. So I look at it and just think, you know what, like that performance with that defence that had never played together before. I mean, it could have been 4 or 5-1, really. It was,
it probably should have
yeah,
been.
so
We'll get into that in a bit, but yeah,
really proud of him.
Yeah, no. I think it might have been Michael and Cece, I think, in the comments of my match reaction, which has gone down really well. Lots of comments on that. Who, and I do actually take heed on this. Is like, let's just. I know I get passionate. I know I get a bit kind of down when we get beat. I know I kind of get up when we win, but just kind of enjoy it a bit and really get behind the players, because Martin, I'll come to you. It's like there's so many twists and turns. There's so many ups and downs in this season. Wolves beating Tottenham after we thought, oh, that's it. Tottenham are away from us now. I'm sure there's going to be, situations where Man United are going to drop points. There's probably going to be situations where we're going to drop points. But it just shows you that, every week there's so many things that happen in this Premier League. I mean, we're 4 points off Man City as well. Like, they dropped points against Chelsea. So we're back in fourth position. Isn't it just a point of like, let's enjoy it? And I think I'm going to really try and do that. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to really try and do it, Martin. But, you tell me.
Yeah, well, as the old cliche goes, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And that's exactly what this season is. In terms of Man United, don't get me wrong, they're a team that'll always just seem to bounce back up no matter how bad they perform, and just seem to get some weird results along the way. But when you really put it into perspective, we've been 8 points ahead of them for so long with the bad performance that we were banging on about, poor results, and they only gained 3 points on us. So that to me only says that it's not the end of the world. And this narrative of Villa fans, and don't get me wrong, and I do hate saying it, like, for some reason when we lose a game or we draw against a team we probably should have beaten, it's like, oh, that's it now, typical Villa, this and that. And that's not the case, because if you take a look back, and I know this is another cliche that, look how far we come, but it's in all reality, this is look how far we come, because 5-6 years ago we were sitting 12th in the Championship when Jack Grealish was out for so long with an injury. He comes back, gets us into that promotion place in the playoff. We got promoted, just about stayed up, and then we go finish 11th. Yes, we had a bit of a dip in the few years. Unai Emery comes in, he takes us from 17th to 7th, and now we're sitting 4th in the Premier League. So it's just, you have to take this in reality day by day. And I am a very realistic Villa fan. Like, don't get me wrong, when we were sitting in the top 2, I was loving life. Do not get me wrong, I was loving life. But at the same time, I was very realistic in thinking, I don't think Aston Villa will win the league, because you have to remember, you can't write off Man City, because when it gets to the month of March, April, May, they just keep winning. That's it. It's win, 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 win. And if other teams don't drop points, that's the only way Man City will lose the league. And we have to also remember that 5th place can be potentially a Champions League place this year, because it might go to an extra team. So even if we do finish outside the top 4, it's probably not the end of the world, because we probably make the Champions League due to the new format. So don't get me wrong, we would like 4th in terms of the insurance for security and all that you get the Champions League, most definitely. But if you finish 5th, you're still in the Champions League potentially. So it's not the end of the world. So we have to get behind these lads. Like, look, a dip in form was due to happen. It was due to happen. No matter what, each team in the Premier League goes through a bad month. For Villa, it was January. Now we've picked up, had a great performance against Man United, just won them things that we couldn't score. But another great performance against Fulham. And you know what? In that game, we've actually beaten our goal tally from last season. And it's only February. We've got 52 goals in the Premier League. Last year, we got 51. Now, I did see that from Aston Villa stats, so the credit does go out to him. But it goes to show that we are unbelievable now in the front 4 compared to last season. And it's only February. So God knows how many goals we're going to score and getting us into that top 4 place, and hopefully to bring in better caliber of players.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I agree, Martin. Some really good points there. Sharik is our man of realism or pessimism. I don't know which one it is, but says the 5 point gap over United still isn't enough for now. If we can beat Forest, Luton, and Spurs, destiny is our own hands. Anything less, and I would expect United to overturn it. Still, being unbiased. Kev, are you bothered on that? Are you kind
I
of
give two
thinking that?
shits,
I
mate.
mean, are
I give
you
two shits.
are you confident that we beat Forest and Luton anyway?
I'm not confident about Forest, Luton, and all those games. I don't give a shit about Man United. I don't give a shit
Mm.
about Man United because I think they've been lucky. I don't think they're all that. Like they know we were a better team against them, and fine, they got a sucker punch at the end. For the big Man United to basically like nick a win away at Villa Park, look, that they played in that game as if they were Brentford or a Burnley or Sheffield United. When Sheffield United came to Villa Park, it was we were the better team throughout, and they got lucky at the end, basically. Although obviously in the end we got back to Sheffield United. Luton were all over them today. Yeah, they got caught on the break a few times. Luton were all over them. I thought they defended pretty well, but really, like I just don't buy it. And I saw Redknapp and Gary Neville at the end. They're going to reel in Tottenham and Villa. And I'm not thinking they're not playing amazing football. They're not. I mean, okay, Hoyland's scoring, bravo, but really,
Yeah, they're
like, I
banging
don't
on about
see.
him, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, all right, Sharik, why don't we just go and jump off a bridge, son? Like, what's the point carrying on, mate? All jokes aside, like, I don't give a shit about them. They're not the team they used to be. They're not the team they used to be. They haven't got any players that really bother me. I think we're better than them. I think Spurs are better than them. I think both teams will finish above Man United. I might be wrong on that, but they haven't played lately. I mean, they snuck a win at Wolves. Great win in the end, but it's 4-3. Beat a terrible West Ham team. Fine, they got a good comeback against the tired Villa. I haven't. If they were playing like 4 or 5 wins in a row, battering teams like Brighton were, last season, like Man City when they go on a charge.
I do think the moments that they get in will catch up with them a little bit. I do think that
And the
it's
refereeing
just
decisions
us.
as well.
Yeah, it's just us kind of keeping this, I guess, this slight bit of consistency going. And I do think that we beat Forest. Hopefully on Saturday, we'll go into that later on in the week with our match previews. But I do think we'll be in a much better position from there. But yeah, as Rachel said, it's irrelevant what Man United and Spurs do. It's down to us. It's absolutely is down to us. Absolutely. Let's talk our game anyway, and some of the players that kind of featured heavily and that I want to kind of focus on. First one being a player who's shown how much we've missed him after he's not been in the side, and everyone in the chat's talking about him. So I will come to those comments as well. But what a difference having Pau Torres back in the side, Martin. I mean, you I knew we were missing him. I knew we missed him, but just having him in the side, playing those passes, seeing certain passes that other players don't see, it, and not only seeing them but being able to execute them, just that calmness that he brings to the defensive line, just imperious, wasn't he? And it's just such a great feeling to have him back.
That's it. And I mean, when we look at Pau Torres, we had 17 games with him in the league, and the form was we won 13 times, we drew twice, we lost twice. That, if you were saying those 17 games with him, that is top table, caliber, and he just brings such a calm presence. And as well against Fulham, he passed the ball over 1,000 yards. That's the 8th time he's done that this season, which is incredible to how we play from building up from out the back. And now, don't get me wrong, Linley, when he was on that side, you could see what he wants to do. He was trying to get that pass. He was doing exactly what Pau Torres was doing. The execution probably just wasn't pulling off, but he was still performing relatively well. And, when we were missing him, that's when the form dropped. When he was gone, we thought maybe 1 or 2 games, okay, we kind of got the results that we probably wanted and we should expect them. But then as the time went on, we were like, oh, we need Pau Torres back, because we did not realize how much we missed Torres in that starting lineup yesterday.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Few comments before I come to you, Kev. Tombo Jones says Torres play, Villa win. Weston says Pau Torres discuss. I think he's world class. He has better passing and ball carrying stats than most central midfielders.
Yeah.
I think there's some more comments here. Gary says Pau is too good for us and he could be our next 100 million exit. Hopefully not yet. Weston also says the way Pau started the move for Ollie's second goal. Yeah, I mean, just so assured at the back, Kev. Just so many good passes. I mean, there was a couple in the second half, like when players were obviously getting a bit more tired. Fulham were trying to press onto us, and I think I remember him stepping inside one player. It might have been Pereira, and then he kind of disguised a pass. I thought he was going to go up the line, and he kind of like went across it, and it went into Tielemans in the central midfield area, and he just had no one around him. And I'm like, how has he seen that pass? But just so good, Kev, so good.
Yeah, I think what's been great to see, like, you know, we might reeled off their stats from obviously Aston Villa stat area, obviously great stat source on Twitter, but sorry, X as it's called now. But I mean, one of those games is that Newcastle game, isn't it, when he had to come off the bench for his debut? You know, Mings got like that injury, and you know, anyone, I don't care whether you're like prime Franco Baresi or Franz Beckenbauer, going into the cauldron of St James's Park on the first day of the season when you know that they were up in a game is going to be hard for anyone. We worried about his physicality a little bit. Well, I think you saw the way, I can't remember who it was, who he bodied yesterday out of the way totally in the box. And, you know, great.
Deckled over Reed.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's not the biggest.
He's not the biggest. No, he didn't do it to that Munoz, did he? But yeah.
Try that with Amaniyi next week. He's an absolute.
Yeah, I know. I know. He worries me.
He does worry me as well. But I'm saying, I think his physicality, he's got used to the league a bit more. You know, there was a lot more stray passes early on. Now I was thinking it's about our defenders when they're all fit. I don't know if I'd swap our back four for any other back four in the league. It was an interesting point of discussion. I can't remember where I saw this, but where people were talking about, I heard it somewhere. But like, you know, could we? It might have been on the post-match Claret and Blue one with obviously Birmingham, Dan Rollinson, when they were talking about if all our centre halves are fit, could you actually play a Mings, Torres, Konza, like Carlos situation where you've got almost like Man City when they've got the full centre half?
It's like back to Martin O'Neill days, isn't it?
Yeah, but with a bit more mobility of those players.
Yeah.
Konza's a bit better than being quite isn't he?
Yeah.
But I just think the quality that he's got, the difference he makes to the team, he slotted back into that team when he hasn't played for like probably a couple of months effortlessly, and it was his stepping out of defence, playing a great ball, you know, quickly. That first goal was just a thing of beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. Few more comments. Rub says Pau is essential to the way Villa play, and he is also perfectly well in our system. He's too smart to go burn himself playing alongside Maguire or Disasi. And Weston says, now we know why Unai wanted Pau so badly. And just someone else who's kind of getting a mention, honourable mention, Martin, is, and I actually said in my match reaction that I actually thought that he was possibly arguably the man of the match, just because of the different position that he was playing in, the right-sided centre back instead of the left-sided centre back, setting up with a new defensive partner in Pau Torres, and just some of the blocks that he made and some of the reading of the game he did. Now, obviously, the moment where he didn't read the game so well was the goal. But I thought Clement Longley was really good yesterday and really surprised me, Martin. I thought he had a great game.
Yeah, so did I. I thought he was exceptional. Like, you know, like I think what he done really well, he kind of cleaned up all the dirty bits and kind of like polished Pau Torres in like a sort of a way. So like, I think maybe that suits him, and he was absolutely brilliant. He was cleaning up. He was even getting the passes right, like out to Matty Cash very early. He was out into the midfield very early. He had a great game, and of course, like I said, just bar that little bit of lapse of concentration. Maybe he probably didn't hear the call from Emi Martinez for the ball, or maybe there was no communication from a midfield standpoint saying there's a man coming behind you. But look, they happen in games, and I'm not too bothered by it because it didn't cost us in the end. But, you know, he had a really good game, and I'm with you on that. I think he's probably a great show for man of the match.
Yeah. Ugent said Longley was brilliant. He rates him much higher than Carlos. CC 100% agrees with me. I think the goal was on Emery. Weston said Emery held his hand up for the goal as well. A few people saying Cash as well. Stephen said that I read a few reports as well. And I honestly, I didn't get it why he got a hammering, because I thought he was excellent. And I've seen some of the stats. I don't think they were from AVFC Stato, to be honest, this time. But I saw some of the stats that his passing was upwards of 90%. So
I seen that one. I did see that one.
So look, I think it was a game where we had to dig in, and it was a game in the last 20 minutes where the defence had to do their job, and Emery obviously blamed himself for the goal, but he actually won us the game really at the end, and that's what you want a good goalkeeper for. And a lot of people saying Matty Cash played well. Gary H said 98%. I'm sure I could swear it was high. I thought all the defence played well. I thought Moreno was a little bit more back to his old self as well, which was great. Really, really good. Now, at the other end of the pitch, a player who was clinical yesterday, and he's really getting back to some real goal scoring form, Kev. And two kind of different types of goals. The first one being a really nice precision finish into the bottom corner across the goalkeeper. The second one finishing off a flowing move, just basically head down, knee over the ball, smash it in. But that is a sign of a striker in tip-top form in terms of Ollie Watkins, mate.
Yeah, and he hasn't actually been in tip-top form, has he, really? In terms of post-Christmas, he hasn't scored that many goals. But this is what Watkins gives you. I mean, he can go quiet in a game, and we can be doing the usual. I mean, this will happen until his Villa career ends. He could score.
Oh, of course, because he frustrates and he excites in equal measure, and that's what attackers do. Like Leon Bailey was the same. Diaby will be the same. You're like, how can you not score that when you could do this? How can you not hold the ball up there when you could do it like 5 minutes ago? So, of course, that's what strikers do, don't they, Kev?
Well, yeah, and Haaland's obviously getting it, isn't he? For for not scoring as much as he was last season. And I remember hearing something ages ago on this. But if when you watch that player, then obviously you notice their problems. It's like, isn't it? Like if you're in a relationship with someone, you notice the little things that kind of pee you off about him. Over breakfast on a Tuesday morning, whatever. But you don't notice someone else's partner. Who lives 16 miles away because you're not there. I.e., we're not watching every single minute of Gabriel Jesus or Erling Haaland or Ivan Toney. And there'll be things that those clubs' fans will also have that annoy them. The thing for Watkins to me right now is just got to look at the stats. The stats are unbelievable, really. Unbelievable. So, I mean, and you're absolutely right, Rich. The first goal I thought was really good. And we loved Ramsey's work, snapping it away in that midfield. Got the ball, went to Watkins. He just really calm, actually turned really nicely on it. Just knew where the corner was. Great finish. And the second one, dream of a move. And like that Sheffield United goal, obviously we had to take a touch first, but got himself in the same kind of position. Just a confident finish. Loved it.
Yeah.
Really good. And I do think if the penalty being given, he might have let him have it for the hat-trick. Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, just to get back on your stats there, Kevin, like this year, if you actually take away penalties for like goals across the league, Ollie Watkins has the most goal contributions with 23. And that's just top level Premier League striker. And he has the most goal contributions away from home this year. And again, AVFC stat, that credit goes to yourself. But it just goes to show the form that he's doing is incredible. And he's still getting slated 50-50 from the fan base. And it's like, look at his numbers.
Yeah, I know, and it's one of them. Like when you look at numbers, he's done great. He is fantastic. There are parts of his game though that do frustrate, and that's the situation of any striker, anyone. Like we've said about Haaland, it's exactly the same as any striker. Even the best ones, fans will get annoyed with them because they're the people who, it's goalkeepers and strikers. They're the ones who.
They're the first on the team. They're going to get slated.
So, yeah, exactly. But yeah, fantastic. You know what else was weird on the statistics? Obviously, Gabby's our top Premier League goal scorer, and am I right? And he scored 40 away goals for Villa.
Who?
Gabby.
Oh yeah,
40?
yeah,
Watkins is on 24 and Gabby was on 40 away goals for Villa.
Surely not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby loved
Like,
the
I
goal
don't know
away
if
from
that's
home.
in all goals for Villa, like, or whether that's just Premier League. But I
Kind of
know he
only
No, it's
got.
just
scored
I
Premier
know
League.
25. Kind of only
It's
scored
just
20
Premier
out of
League.
Villa Park.
He's got 40 Premier League away goals.
that's mad. Obviously, we played on the break, so it probably does make sense. But yeah,
But to think our top Premier League goal scorer has only got 20, 25 goals at Villa Park.
yeah, I know. I
Yes.
know. I know. I was amazed by that because Ollie's got 24 or something. And I was thinking, bloody hell, he's got a long way to go for to catch up with Gabby in away goals. I'm sure we'll beat him with the actual overall Premier League. But yeah, so 13 Premier League goals this season. Kev, Sam doesn't think he will hit 20. Will you? Do you think he'll hit 20 Premier League goals this season, Kev?
That question felt like, when the commentator said to Kevin Keegan and David Batty.
Yeah, the David Batty.
Yeah. David Batty up next. Will he score? Will he score? Yes. No. I'm going to say yes. And I can hear Sam crying in the background. No. How many games have we got left in the league? No, we've got
13.
25, haven't we?
13.
13 games to get 7 goals. I don't think he'll quite do 20 in the league. But I think he'll get close. I think he'll get his best tally ever. 17, 18, something like that. I mean, I think if he was to do a bit more of what he did at the weekend in London, which he scored more than 1 goal in a game, then I think he'd have a bit of a chance to do it. Because, I think I will say one thing, right? If we really want to make sure, this is the one critique of Watkins, right? But hey, I'm going to just throw it in there. When we're playing some of these teams where you need if he wants to be the backup striker to Kane, for England, then when you're playing a Forest or you're playing a Luton, that's when he's got to make sure he takes his chances. And if he does that, and we might need a couple of games in this last few games of the season where he gets a couple of braces or he maybe gets a hat-trick against the lower team. I just think that's where we could really come to the fore, isn't it? So, and obviously getting a lot of assists. I know we won't talk about assists, Rich. I know how you feel about that, but
we'll come on to the assist in a second, but yeah. A lot of people saying that they think he'll get close to 20. Obviously, he'll get 20 in all competitions, but you know what? I think he's got a shot at it. 7 goals in 13 games. I think he's got a shot. But I think you're right. He probably needs out of those 13, probably needs a couple of games where he gets more than 1 goal. Yeah, so I do think that. Guys, we have nearly 100 people watching, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you all for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Help us get over 100 watching tonight, and hit that subscribe button. We are very, very well. We're motoring towards 3,400 subscribers. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button as well. And if you want to become a member, it's pinned at the top of the chat. The link is there. Click the link. Just $1.99 a month, less than a third of a cost of a pint, and you can become an official Villa Park Pod follower. Lots of people in the chat talk about Diaby, but I don't really want to chat too much about Diaby. I don't think he was on long enough to kind of have a big impact and stuff like that. And I thought Leon Bailey, he gave him more time because I think Bailey was probably doing the defensive work better in the second half. Now, one other player, Martin, who played a full match, and I was very surprised that he played the full match, but I'm glad that he did, and I think that'll do him really good moving forward. Yuri Tielemans had a very good game. When he picks up the ball in those areas, those just on the half turn, in kind of in between the sort of halfway line and the penalty box, in that kind of attacking third, gets the ball on the turn there, he's deadly, because that pass to Ollie Watkins just spots the defender out of position, puts it on an absolute plate for him. Wonderful assist. Now, that is an assist, I'm telling you that now. But yeah, brilliant assist. And unlucky not to score as well, but good game overall for Yuri Tielemans.
Absolutely. And his positional awareness is incredible. Like, he's not the quickest player in the world, and he'll probably openly tell you that himself. But like, his positional awareness is incredible. He knows where to be when to press. He knows where to be when he's receiving the ball and to unlock a pass. Like in that move when Ollie Watkins scored and Pau Torres gave it to John McGinn, literally, you could physically see the movement of Tielemans just moving slightly to the right. Like, not staying where he is, even though he was in a hole, but he still moved slightly to the right. received the ball on the left foot, looked up, and just instinctively just went boom. It was sort of like that assist he got for Iheanacho against.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It's
was
sort of
only
like
2 defenders he played it through,
yeah,
so it doesn't count.
like it
I'm
was
not
sort of
going to
like that
live that
assist.
down, am I?
Yeah, he sort of got that assist, like remember he got for Iheanacho against West Brom, where he just like that inch perfect pass for the striker, and Ollie Watkins taking a touch, looks up, bang, a real powerful finish into the back of the net, and the scenes in the away end were unbelievable. And from to play 90 minutes as well, I was delighted. It'll do him the world of good for his confidence and for match fitness going into the next game against Forest.
I'll tell you what's great about that pass as well. This is a sign of a real quality player. The ball comes into him and he literally takes one touch left foot and then like the next touch right foot to get the weight of the pass, the angle of the pass so perfect without even having time to think about it, from a fair distance.
Yeah.
I just think it's absolute top draw player. That is so good.
Touching gone. That was it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He did that similar type of pass in the Man City game, moved the ball on quickly to Bailey, and the Arsenal game where he was the pass before the pass, I think.
Yeah.
And he's just so good at that. If we're moving, if he's got players moving around him, he's perfect because he does everything 1 and 2 touch, which is perfect. Man with the golden gun says Tielemans is a class player. There's no look passes he does leaves most defenders flat-footed. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And he had a really good game. Few people in the chat, Kev, talking about Mr. Bailey. A game where I thought he was really good in moments, and he had Robinson on toast, particularly probably I think first kind of 55, 60 minutes. But the thing about Bailey is because he's got that aura about him now, defenders just don't know what to do with him. They don't know whether to go in and try and tackle him, stay tight. They don't know whether to stay off him. They don't know whether to show him inside. They don't know whether to show him outside. And it was summed up beautifully with that moment where he hit the crossbar. And as people in the chat are saying, that would have been goal of the season for Villa. What skill? Like, just phenomenal.
I still think that McGinn goal against Arsenal might have won goal of the season, but
yeah.
But I think I've seen this in the comments, but that's the one thing I'd say which is massive about Bailey now. He's his end product. He's just so much better. His footwork's better. His ball control, his skills, like more things. He's doing more things basically now consistently than he was before. Before it was just really like here, there, and everywhere. He didn't want to expect. He's the reliable one now. Diaby, you're not sure what you're going to get. Defensively, he's good. And yeah, you can see defenders. I mean, the fact that they just kept banging on about it in the game, in the Man United Luton game, about Bailey last week against Lindelof, must have mentioned it 3 or 4 times. So I mean, talk about players being sold next. He might be the one if they keep talking about that much in the press. But I mean, he's just effective, isn't he? He's so potent. If he's on form, Watkins gets his goals, keeping them going now. And you've got Ramsey coming back to form. Tielemans back in the team. You can keep McGinn a bit deeper if Kamara's injured, because you've got players actually now in those offensive positions that can cause some damage. I mean, that's always obviously the worry about McGinn. Is he more effective forward? Well, I don't think you're losing too much if some of those other players are on form.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, isn't it? Because McGinn did give the ball away a couple of times, Martin, and he probably is in that situation. However, putting him into that defensive position, you've then got a really nice balance. You've got Ramsey who can run with the ball and get your territory. You've got Tielemans who's imaginative with his passing. You've got Bailey with his trickery and skill and pace, and then you've got Watkins with his finishing and his running in behind. And it's almost like it's such a good balance to have it out of that front four. So while you are losing, I know I don't want to get too carried away after one game with that formation, but it does point to a really nice balance of attacking options that if one player isn't quite on his game, then someone else will offer something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think, when McGinn does drop that little bit deeper, it probably does allow Luis to kind of go further up, which does benefit him as well in the long run. And the energy from McGinn, as we all know, it's non-stop. He will keep going, he'll keep going. And yeah, he lost possession a few times, but like he didn't lose it in areas that were going to cost us. He lost them up high enough up the pitch, so there's nothing to be worried about in that regard. But at the same time, like the balance is great. I think, you know, and another thing as well for Emery Buendia, when he comes back, like
If
he's
he
another one.
does, yeah,
If he does,
this
but like,
season,
you know,
yeah.
but he'll get into little pockets of holes that like he always just seems to find and get himself busy, which adds another aspect to our kind of forward line. And you know, at the moment it's a really great balance the way we played that formation. And look, hopefully, you know, Kamara kind of comes back quicker as we kind of expected, but obviously he's not back this season. But I think McGinn being in there, it's not going to be an issue for him because he's played there for so long.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see what we do, and whether Irugbonham comes in for certain games. We'll wait and see. Few comments coming in. So many comments coming in. CC says, if the team is working together, energy and focus is high. The missed passes, etc., are more often picked up by a teammate. Steve 24/7 says, Bailey is brilliant to watch. This is why we have to keep the faith. Man with the golden gun says, for me, what really has brought Bailey on is his movement, and because of his pace, he is generally marshalled by two defenders, which then leaves space for our midfielders to occupy. Weston said, I'm just thinking when we have all injured players back and a few new additions in the summer, what a squad we're going to have. 100%. 100%. And a few people saying like Buendia's Tielemans is kind of like in that position, quite similar to a Buendia in terms of the quick passes or trying to find the trickier passes, which there are some similarities there. So yeah, it was really good to see some of the players. I thought Ramsey was a little bit more back to his old self as well. So it was really good to see, really professional performance. Yeah, great win, and one that was much needed and well deserved. Kev, in terms of some of the big moments in the game, obviously we've talked about Watkins with the goals, and probably should have had 2 or 3 more goals because VAR rears its ugly head again. Moreno's goal chalked off for VAR. Ollie Watkins should have had a penalty. This ref that was in the game, he was a new ref in his first game, and I kind of felt like VAR was trying to help him by not overturning his decisions, but in doing that, didn't help him because the decision, well, certainly the penalty decision, in my opinion, was wrong, and they should have sent him to the screen. So I don't know if that really helps him in terms of them kind of like, because he didn't make a decision in either of those moments, and then them not telling him to go to the screen and just kind of saying, okay, we'll just go with the on-field decision, which wasn't any decision, doesn't really help him in any way.
They said this, didn't I think the co-com said this of the stream that I was watching, that when the most blatant penalty you've seen all season happened, that he didn't want to overrule him because it was his first game. Let me just paint you a little picture, right? Imagine you've got a family member, right, that's having an operation, and it's a rookie surgeon, and the experienced surgeon in the background can see that they've just cut through the wrong bit of your internal organs, and you're back to bleed out. Would you want them to intervene because it's the right bloody thing to do, or B, just don't undermine that poor surgeon? I mean, if we get to the end of the season and that game ends up being 2-2 and we miss out by 1 or 2 points or goal difference, whatever it is for Champions League, then it will matter. And these are the things. And I know we probably have things go our way and things change, but it's a ridiculous argument for me. The whole point of it is it's a refereeing system. And VAR was brought in to make the decisions to be more reliable. So if you've got a rookie ref or an experienced ref, it's quite simple. If you ain't good enough to be on the pitch to play, you shouldn't play. If you ain't good enough to be a referee on the pitch, you shouldn't referee. Facts. Simple. That was the most unbelievably dodgy line I've ever seen for a VAR decision. I mean, Moreno in at the back post could be a theme. Cheers, Mike. Moreno in at the back post could be a theme this season because he's done that a few times, back post, hasn't he? Got a couple of goals, missed one as well.
Yeah.
It was onside all day long. It was on. The line was off Bailey's foot, and then the penalty. And I remember thinking, like, you know, when they were attacking at the end, I was about to throw things at my TV.
I've never seen it. I mean, the offside, the line was wrong. Or in my opinion, it was so difficult to tell, and in those situations, you know, that benefit of the doubt to the attacker has completely gone out the window, which is a shame for me. But the penalty is just, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how they cannot say go and have a look at the screen because you might just want to have a common sense check on that. Even if it had gone and looked at it and said, actually, no, I want to stick with my decision. It's fair. It's not enough to be a penalty, but it was a clear penalty. He took him out. It was brilliant ball by Leon Bailey. Watkins is running onto it. Diop just comes across and like puts his leg across.
Just have a look at
it. Clear penalty.
Why not have a look at it if you're unsure? Like, before you send an email, sometimes you go, oh, just double check that. Like, just have a look at it. What's the problem to have a look at it? Have a look at it. If it's wrong.
Yeah.
But they didn't even do
Kevin,
that.
You sounded like a scouse today. Have a look at it. Have a look at it.
Hey, mate, have a look at the fucking decision, mate.
Mate, have a look at the can of Coke on the side in the fucking VAR room.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing though, Martin. If it goes to if that situation is as is a clear penalty, if Luiz scores it, which would be confident that he would, the whole tension of the rest of the game just goes. And you think, like, we went through a situation there where Fulham have their tails up. They're going for it. They nearly score from Traore. Martin has to kind of make a big 1v1 save. But that doesn't happen if the VAR and the referee do their job properly.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the technology that's there. I mean, why didn't they go with the, in the World Cup where they had like that sort of like screen where it shows you whether the player is on and off? And you're looking at the line. I remember Max sent into the group chat, like, without zooming in, how dodgy does the line look? And it's fairly dodgy. And I think I seen Villa Paddy from the Liverpool McGrath podcast, when he put it up, he had like the yellow line, and it was literally like right here, and the foot is literally on the blue line. Like, it's on the blue line. So therefore he's onside. And then when you're going to the penalty, he was clean in on goal, and he was just taken out of it. And you're going, mate, you have the technology for a reason. Like, look at it. If it's a stonewall penalty, it should be given. So why was it not given? And I remember, even with the whole thing about VAR, just kind of taken away from the Fulham game, like, remember when Neil Warnock, he was challenging Mark Gallagher, and Mark Gallagher was kind of saying, oh, but because of this and that, it's just no. Because Casemiro's jumped up, it's affected the movement of Carlos and Lingley, what they wanted to do. So therefore he has impacted in play. He still jumped up and gone for the ball. Not because he couldn't get it, then just wipe it away like he's not offside. He still impacted what the other two players have done. Mm-hmm. And it's not just from this game, it's from all seasons. And I seen Luis Diaz when he dived against, who were Liverpool playing the weekend? Brentford. And Nathan Collins didn't even touch him, and they gone to VAR on it. Okay, it's fine, you didn't give the penalty, but why not use VAR for stimulation? Like, they were clearly trying to cheat for like a penalty. So
well, that's the thing. I mean, why would Ollie Watkins go down if he's on an opportunity to score a hat trick? Why would he go down if he isn't brought down?
And did you see the one on Tony as well in the box?
Yeah, Robertson just coming through the back of him, and they didn't give it.
Penalty.
And then remember when Jota got from like the dive that he done from Dubravka, and he just falls on the ground, and you're going.
There's so many. I think that decision though. I think that's why they've kind of gone the other way. They've gone because they were given so many that were just like, oh, that's contact. We have to give it. He's kind of said like it's going to have to be more than a foul that would be given outside the box, inside the box. So that's why that threshold has gone up. But I mean, whatever threshold you've got, that's a penalty. I don't care what you say, that's a penalty. But anyway, it ended up being immaterial, but we got the win, and that's the main thing. Now just finishing up, Kev. Fourth in the table, fourth in the home form, and fourth in the away form table now.
Surely not, Rich.
Say so much for the terrible away from home form we've got.
It's all gone to quiet, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, we are marching towards March, and we are fourth in the league. But it's not like we. I mean, I remember when our away form was a bit worse. It's like, oh, we're actually first in the league for home form. But I mean, we
Oh,
are
we're fifth now. Sorry, fifth in the away form now. Maybe Man United
okay.
have gone
Fair
above
enough,
us.
fair
Yeah.
enough. They've ruined it. But it's just it's a great sign of the team. I still think when you look back at this season, yeah, we've had a couple of bad away performances. We've probably had about as many away performances now than we have at home as we have at home since New Year's Eve. Because obviously we've had a couple of stinkers, haven't we? Obviously in the cup and also in the league. We've had some great results away from home. You know, the Chelsea and the Spurs win early in the seasons. Obviously, there was that late winner, wasn't it, at Brentford? Where, you know, back in that game, we got the 2 goals after the red card. You know, Sheffield
What? A red
United.
card? Kamara was sent off.
Kamara's been sent off. Count the players, Rich. Count the players. That was so funny. Flashback to that. But that'll be the end of season awards. This moment of the season, that will be. And obviously, then lately, you know, Sheffield United, we absolutely blitzed them. And Fulham. I mean, I think if the football gods are a bit kinder, in the last week we would have, you know, last week or two, we would have had a smashed, you know, it's Sheffield United. We would have had a 3 or 4 win against Man United and the same against Fulham, but it's not how it works, is it? Sometimes. But yeah, great to see.
Yeah.
But just on that, like there was a question asked earlier, and you know, he said probably been asked like this is me
Martin
out, lad.
Leonard Senior.
And in Irish terms, we say this is me out, lad. But in translation for the English and all that, my dad.
Martin, that's not young. He looks younger than you in that picture.
I know, yeah.
He does,
funny enough,
does.
he's 52, and he doesn't even look it. He looks like he's still in his late 30s. But look, everyone get answering that question. Do you think Villa will finish top 4? And I'll ask you, Rich, do you think Villa will finish top 4?
To be fair, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think we went through this. Me, Sam, and George in our kind of struggle session after the 5-0 win against after the 5-0 win against Sheffield United. We had a bit of a struggle session after that game, and it was asked. I'm going to say yes. I actually do. I really do. Nothing has changed my mind from that point. And even though it was a slightly negative pod after that win against Sheffield United, the Chelsea game aside, which was FA Cup, obviously. Chelsea game aside, I think the performances have been really good against Sheffield United, against Manchester United, and against Fulham. And I think we will. I think there's enough in the tank for us to get 21 victories or 22 victories, and obviously there'll be a couple of draws, a few defeats put in there as well. But I do think we'll hit that sort of 74, 75 mark, and I think we'll be good. I think we'll be good. What about
Kevin?
you, Kev?
Yes, I think we can. And it's because I don't feel like the other teams around us. I made this point earlier on, and and obviously Shriek. I get Shriek's point by the way, totally. Like they're not that far behind, and who knows what's going to happen, right? But I'm just not that impressed with Man United, and I think Spurs are decent, but I don't think Spurs. I just feel we've got a bit more than them. I might well be wrong with that, but we've got players coming back. Torres is back, obviously.
Konsa and Carlos won't be out for too long, but they won't miss too many matches.
Yeah, so you've got your long term ones, but you're going to have some players. Even the players recently that have come back. Dini's come back, obviously, hasn't he, recently? Took a couple of subs appearances now. Ramsey looks like he's getting back to that level of form. Tielemans, I just look around and think, you know what? Yeah, we're a bit light at centre half, but if the confidence is back in the team, they've got the blip out of the system. We've got some games coming up that we really need to win, and every game.
It's not. Yeah, we can't say we should win, but we really need to win. Martin, we'll come to yours in a second. Just a few comments. Tombo says he would take 5th. Michael said yes, 100%. Gary H said 5th for him. Adamski said if we can win 7 or 8 more matches, for sure. Aurelio Gomez says 4th. Rachel said, I don't think we'll get 4th, but won't be through lack of effort or trying. CC says yes, with a sprinkling of luck with United and Spurs dropping a few points. Ugent says, I think we can turn the tables on Liverpool and do the double over Man City. That would be phenomenal. Wow. Stephen says, I'm going yes. Lee said, the squad is stretched. We can't have any more injuries. Otherwise, we can do it. My guy, I like it. McGinn Louise and the pivot looks really good. It is the conference draw next week, Gary. Yes, we will do a fans forum on tomorrow or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. We'll talk about the We'll talk about the draw, and I'll probably do a lunchtime live actually on Friday. Actually, no, I'm away on Friday. Depends if the missus lets me. I'll see what I could do.
And if the missus let me, someone's under the thumb.
No, we're meant to be going away for the weekend, so yeah, we'll see if I'm allowed to do any pods. Lewis said we're still in the title race. Yes, we can, and we have what United and Spurs don't. We know how to put an end of season run together. Yeah. So, Martin, you asked the question. You give us the final answer.
I think we will. I think we'll get fourth place. I think that I'm being optimistic in my life because Kevin is obviously injecting belief into my system now, and I think we will. I think United, the Manchester derby's coming up, so hopefully that means Man City will get 3 points off them. Man United still have to play Liverpool.
Want a draw in that, Martin? Want a draw?
Yeah. So hopefully.
Your dad says you're off your head.
Yeah.
So he says
it's all that drink he has here behind me. Look.
Yeah.
I think I had a few of it just before I come on. Yeah, no, I think we will.
Nice. Well, look, let's finish it on that positive note. Really good win. Really positive in terms of performance. Really good to see some players hitting form. Great chat in the comments. Sam will be back. I'm sure he will be back to discuss his love of Ollie Watkins, and you guys can get at him. But yeah, boys, thank you very much. If you haven't already, guys, we've had over 100 watching tonight, which is brilliant. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't, hit it on your way in. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We'll be back with Talking Tactics tomorrow, Fans Forum later in the week, lunchtime lives, match previews, all the usual jazz. So make sure you stick with the channel, and always remember, we'll follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.